Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. I am James from eDirectory. I'm the CEO of Arca Solutions. With us today, we have Emerson and Gabriel from our marketing team. Thanks, guys, for joining. And we are excited about today's webinar. We're going to talk a little bit about eDirectory plugins. So first, just a couple logistics before we get started. If anybody has any questions during the webinar, you can pop them into the chat and we will stop periodically and answer them as we go. As well as at the end of the webinar, we'll have more time to go over any questions or any issues that you have. Just we can do further discussions at the end of the webinar on any topic you'd like. So just pop the questions into the chat. The second note is there will be a copy of this webinar posted onto the eDirectory.com blog. That post usually happens within 24 hours or so. Usually by tomorrow at lunch, we'll have the recording of the webinar up there if you want to review the recording afterwards. So great. Well, let me get started. I'm going to share my screen here. Great. So hopefully that came up for everybody. Fantastic. So yeah, today we're going to talk about plugins for eDirectory. Yeah, so I'm James. We have Emerson live from Portugal and Gabriel from our Brazil office as well joining us today. First, for anybody that's new here, just a very, very quick background on the eDirectory platform. It is a platform to build directory style websites used for many different industries and purposes. It's basically listing type sites. It's a full content management system where it can manage the listings. Users, visitors can create, claim listings, put them in. There's a moderation queue. You can create custom pages. It has native mobile apps as well, highly customizable, the whole solution to match your brand or your own other website or whatever. You can configure all the fields, and we also have source code available if you want to do custom development with your own team. We have a team as well that can get you a quote on custom development if you do want to customize it. But often you can do everything you need to right through the admin section. And if you need more information, just reach out and we can have an account executive give you a private personal demo and discuss your needs on that. Great. So the eDirectory has a lot of features, just standard features in part of the regular platform. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just quick to run through them, just so you know, we're not many other products. They try to make you buy these plugins for sort of essential features, and that isn't our plugin strategy at all. The plugins are sort of just to do additional things that many people don't even need. So just a quick run through the very, very standard features. We have an easy member sign up where both visitors and sponsors can become members, create listings, put in their own data, upload their own photos, upload their own videos, etc. Unlimited categories and subcategories. For the listings, the site manager, the site owner configures those, and then the members can select which categories their listing is part of. The listings are claimable, so you can import data, and then advertisers or members can go in and say, oh, that's my business there, claim it. And there's a checkout process with moderation option as well for them to claim it. There's actually a multi-site publisher solution, so you can run multiple sites off the same admin section, and the sites are very separated as well. You can set up different permissions now with this new version, where maybe your certain staff members have access to one site or another. Automated recurring billing, so you can bill people monthly, annually, etc. via credit card for the listings. You can also send out custom invoices where you invoice them for a listing and maybe some other things as well as part of a bigger sponsorship package. invoice, they can pay that invoice with a credit card. Listings have reviews and reply to member reviews, so that say like a business, if you're doing a local guide, maybe a restaurant does somebody posts up a review and the restaurant owner says he wants to do a personal reply to that person, so they can do that and post the reply up there. Auto recurring events. So there's an event module where, local events, meetings, those kind of things, recurring. You can set those up. We have a visual page editor, load code. So you don't need to have any technical skills at all. You can go in, drag and drop the widgets around to configure your page and what's on them. Template editor, where you can configure the different fields in the listing. You may be doing listings that are like a golf course, which has certain fields, or a very niche B2B business where the fields in that listing are very different, and so you can configure those. We use an open source platform called Elasticsearch behind the scenes. This is a highly scalable search engine that does the autocomplete and does super fast page loads on very large databases. So the system can hold a few million listings without too much trouble at all, without some major hosting configurations. If you do have a very large database or very large traffic, reach out to us and we can help design the hosting architecture that can handle that. And we have the system SEO optimized, all the modules in the system, tagged, whatever we can possibly do there to get you on top of the search results. We put a lot of time into that. So those are sort of the basic features in the directory. Then in addition to that, we have some plugins as well. Some of the plugins have additional costs. We typically have specials on some of the plugins occasionally that we run. So where you can get a package of these plugins all together. If you want to see the plugins, go to eDirectory.com, and there's a link on the footer, or actually on the in the marketplace section on the header, where you can go in, and we'll post that link in the chat as well. But you can go in there and see all the plugins and description of them and all that sort of thing with the plugins. But now I'm going to just talk about some of the key plugins in the system, and then we'll open it up to anybody if anybody has any questions. So one of the plugins that people like is the instant messaging plugin, where you can connect these different messengers, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram, into the listing, and that'll activate these instant messenger platforms. So the site owners will be able to add a messenger floating button on the site, except for the results and detail pages on those, and then that allows you to facilitate that contact with the visitor base. So that's a pretty popular plugin. Another one is the Google tailored maps. What the Google Maps does, the tailored maps, the Google Maps are included in the base platform, but we have a tailored maps where you can customize the map markers per listing category, which is a great feature a lot of people like, as well as it has a much bigger, it shows the map in a bigger frame on some parts of the website as well, some of the widgets there. So Google tailored maps. Another plugin is the advanced review module. This one allows you to add specific review items in there, like, instead of just a general review with a general description of the review, you can put in very specific sort of questions on there, like, for example, how was the service, or how was the food quality, or whatever else. A lot of people have very niche sites, and so they like to use it, really put in some labels in there and some things that are based on what their topic is.
James.
Yeah.
Just to add one thing about this specific plugin, it's associated with the listing templates. So you can create different types of reviews if you have different listing templates, one for each category. So it's possible to create a very rich user experience using this plugin.
Yeah, that's great. So eDirectory has this way to create listing templates based on, so you can have a template for golf courses, for example, that has fields specific to a golf course listing, and then a separate template for like a hotel or whatever your B2B directory is. You can create these separate templates, and then you can make the reviews have questions in them that are very specific to those industries. So that's a pretty good feature. Thanks for the comment there. Let me stop here. We had a couple comments come in. Okay, it looks like we had a question. Can you explain more about the multi-content publisher? I think that's a multi-site publisher, right? Emerson is what we mean by that. That was on one of the earlier slides.
No, with one account, an advertiser can post and publish many listings, many articles, many events and classifieds. Some other players, they just allow one content, one listing for one account. So our architecture works this way. One account can publish many content on the website.
Multiple listings per sponsor. Okay, great. And we also have the ability where you can get add-on sites and run multiple sites as an administrator as well. But I guess we were talking about something else with that. So great. Okay, next one. Leads distribution. We have a plugin that allows you to distribute the leads that come in through the site and set numbers of leads for specific listings, and then charge owners a fee for those leads, creating an additional source of revenue for the site. So if you're doing sort of a lead gen type business, that's a popular plugin. Another plugin is the market selection plugin, where an administrator will be able to create markets such as states or regions or cities, so that users can configure, choose which markets they're interested in. So an example would be like, if you have a market for, say, like New York City, it might include some of the areas in New Jersey or Westchester County or something near the New York City metro area. That's what the market selection is often used for. But some people use it for bigger areas like groups of states, East and West, East Coast, West Coast, or et cetera. It really depends on what you're doing, but it allows you to sort of group together different geographic regions and create a market with those, essentially a tag for that market. Geo-targeted banner ads. That's another one. If you want to have banner ads that are targeted to geographic distances or city, states, etc., you can configure that if you want to have geo-targeted banner ads. And another one that often people do is Google Translate. If you want to put in a couple different languages in there, it's a little bar that goes on the top of the site typically, and allows different translation options for the site using Google Translate. Another plugin that we have is a forum question answer module. It is a very, very light forum, and really what it is, people post questions and then people can answer questions and that type of thing for it, but it is very light. It doesn't have it doesn't have many of the features that a full-featured forum would. And so if forum is really a central part of the business, often people ask us, so they integrate in a third-party forum software like PHP or there's a whole bunch of forum softwares that, forum options that can be integrated if you need a heavier weight forum. But this works pretty good. It's actually pretty effective in terms of driving, user created content and bringing in search results on that. But you do obviously need to manage the forum, make sure it's not empty and all those things. So if you are thinking about putting in a forum, put some thought and run it from a business side as well. And then the Yelp integration. So we do have an integration with Yelp. A lot of people use this sort of to fill out, if they don't have listings for some of the categories or whatever, it'll put up the Yelp listings instead. And we have this as an option just because we got so many requests for it, but I wouldn't recommend using it unless you really need to, just because what it does is Yelp has all these requirements around using their API, that the Yelp logo needs to be displayed. It'll link back into Yelp in various places. And so essentially Yelp might end up taking some of your traffic away there. So I think carefully if you really need to, if you do want to use the Yelp plugin or not. And just, a lot of people are like, oh, why do I need to even create a directory if some of this data is already on Yelp or some other place? And I always like to remind them that, the value that you're providing is the curation, where the market and you're really choosing what's in there and making sure that the content is really good and sort of differentiated from these really large sites for that. And then one other thing just to announce is that we now have a number of the plugins available on the mobile apps, and we didn't have that a number of years ago, and that's been a fairly recent development for us. So we have a native iPhone and Android mobile app that you can submit under your own brand and everything into your own App Store and Google Play Store account. And you submit those apps, you build them in the site manager, and then submit them into your own accounts there. And some of the plugins are now available in the mobile app as well. This is the list here: the instant messaging plugin, the events association, articles association. Those two, what they do is associate a listing with a event. So say you have a meeting or something in a location. Say you have a location listing, an event meeting, and then you want to associate the listing with the event, or an article associated with a specific listing as well. So those are available in the app. Multiple videos for articles and listings, advanced reviews for businesses, geo-targeted banner ads, and the MailChimp integration, which is just an email newsletter system. So that's kind of just a quick overview on the plugins available. Of course, if you want to get a private demo of any of these plugins, specifically, just reach out to us, and we'll set up a time to kind of walk through on screen share through these specific plugins, and talk about any details or any concerns that you might have about them as well. So let me open it up again. Let me check the questions. Okay, let me see. Okay, so follow-up question on that multi-content publisher that we spoke about previously. I was talking about multiple sites. Can you have a UK business type site and a US site with different style of business? Yes, so the multi-site feature, it really allows you to basically run fully different sites on fully different domain names through one site manager, but the content is separated between them. So yes, you could have a UK version on one category and a US version. And what it allows you to do is the add-on sites are a little bit cheaper from a licensing standpoint. So a lot of people just like to have one eDirectory and they run 5-6 sites through one site manager. So yes, absolutely. Locations can be different, categories can be different, data is all different, etc. with the multi-site option. Next question. When would market selection plugin become available on the mobile app? Let me just see. So that one, I think we're still working on that one for the mobile app. I guess I just got to tell you soon at this point. We're working through them right now, and so we're trying to do a lot faster releases than we have historically. So it should be soon. I can't say it probably won't be this month, but maybe the next month or something along those lines for that. Don't have the exact date yet for that, but the team, we do have a queue and we are working on them. And I know that one specifically, the market selection is a pretty high priority one. Can the mobile app be integrated with the eDirectory website and duplicate the website? Yes, absolutely. The mobile app is actually just a separate view on the same database as the website. So typically you run them together, and if you update a listing or update data on the website, it's automatically updated on the mobile app as well. So those two work together, and all the data is shared between them.
James, just to add a little bit more about the apps, you can display just one section of the content from the website on the apps, for example, just listings or just events or just deals, for example. So it's highly customizable. You can create custom pages exclusively for the apps. So there are basically it's the same content, but you can work in different ways between the desktop version and the app version.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes we get a question, well, why do I even need a mobile app if you could view the website on the mobile phone? Because we do have a response. The eDirectory is responsive design, so it shows up with a mobile view that you can go to on a browser on your phone. And the reason for having a separate mobile app is there's a number of reasons, but one of them is you can do notifications where you send out notifications to the app. And there's a lot of configurability around those notifications that go and they pop up on your phone like, you know, like any other app does. For that, there's also the local with the GPS on the phone is a little bit better. Most browsers sort of block or ask you if you want to release your location, so the phone has GPS on it for that. And then one of the bigger other things with the app is just if you're able to get your logo on somebody's phone, that's like the best billboard out there, you know, just in terms of visibility for your brand. There's a lot of reasons, I guess, to do a mobile app. There are some challenges in terms of how do you get people to download the app and all of that. So we typically recommend you get your website up and running and working before you start trying to, you know, spread yourself too thin, working on getting people to download the app. But the apps are pretty good, and a lot of people have had success with them. So next question, can you have banner ads based on search words, i.e. dog walker, and a dog walker banner ad will appear? We don't have that functionality, I think, right now in terms of just having contextual ad systems at this point. But the thing that we do have is you can put the ads in categories. And so it pretty much does the same job, or maybe even a bit better of a job, because trying to code in ads for all the specific keywords, you may not have them. So the way that that's done is typically you set up the ads by category in the website, and then you can have your animals, pets category, and then your dog walker ad would be in there for that. And that's part of the base system as far as that goes. Is there somewhere where we can see the forum functioning? Emerson, I don't know if we have a demo of the forum right now. We may need to send just get a demo of the forum. If anybody wants a demo of the forum, we should send them to get a private demo of the forum. You don't have that available right now at this point, do you? A copy of the forum?
Not on the most recent version,
Okay.
but I have a sample that I can share with Charlene later.
Okay, Charlene. So we'll Emerson will reach out to you, and we'll get you a demo of the forum piece for that. And then a question: can you add different plugins to different sites? I assume the add-on sites have different plugins. How does that work, Emerson? Do you know?
I believe they share the same plugins, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
When we have additional licenses,
the add-on sites and all the plugins, they all work together. Okay, so we think that's how it works. So there's a lot of details, you know, in all the software and stuff.
But I'm pretty sure that they can enable and disable on which site, on different sites, because they have different site managers.
Okay. Yeah, so we probably that's a question just to go through with an account exec, just to, they can show you how that works in terms of getting plugins enabled. Are you able to note that to reach out to Pete and just show him how the plugins can work on via multiple sites?
I already noted.
Okay, question from George. Marketplace, I understand that's not a plugin, but it's some sort of add-on. Not sure how that works. Can you talk about that? We've had a few business owners ask us about this type of service. I think what he means there is on eDirectory.com, we have a marketplace section that shows what we offer as plugins for eDirectory. I think so, but I think the question here is, how do you make sort of a marketplace within a listing where a listing can offer and sell different like types of services and stuff? And so out of the box, eDirectory has this ability to add in like sort of little, it has these widgets that you can put in the listings where you can kind of create products. So each listing owner can put in a couple products with an individual buy button, and it'll link to their own store, their own PayPal checkout, or something along those lines as far as that goes. I think that's what you're looking for. So if you're looking to sell things through a listing, There we have widgets in the listing configuration that can do that. And if you want a demo on that, just reach out to us. If you can note that as well, Emerson, and we'll reach out and get
just on that topic, I will paste the link to our blog post mentioning the marketplace widget that we had from our previous version. So you can have like an overview of how it works.
How it works, yeah. And that's a great feature of the system that's right in the base without a plugin. Next question from Tiffany. Can the banner ads be dynamic with motion and graphics or video? So the way that the banners work is there's a type of banner called a script. And I think with that script, potentially you could put in these other types of rich media banners. You can even integrate in an external banner system. You can integrate, Google has their AdSense for Publishers system where you put Google ads on your site and earn a little bit of revenue, and other ad systems have that as well. So I think what you're trying to do in terms of putting in rich content or dynamic ads, that would probably be done through a script banner piece there, as far as that goes. I think that just the default upload, it'll take normal sort of video formats. But I think if you use a script banner, you can set up those kind of things, and you can reach out on that. You can probably reach out to our support team and we can show you that, that feature. Okay, if I'm running a directory site across multiple countries, is it better to run each country as a sub-site or a multi-site setup? I'm thinking it's better to manage data laws and local laws. Yeah, so the question is running eDirectory across multiple different areas. One thing we did with the add-on sites and all that is they run on separate domains, and one of the big reasons is you'll often actually get better SEO results if you're on a country specific domain name and all that, and it's sort of a full separate deal as far as that goes. So depending on what you're doing, but some sites, they're just one big brand globally, and it's really a business decision that you need to make is local sites or just one big brand sort of globally or for whatever markets you're looking at. And this is a big decision. I always recommend people work on one market and really try to kill it in one place first before trying to like go global and go in 10 languages and really expand. You're going to do a lot better if you're able to go really deep on the data and have really great content, and your guide is really great about helping people make purchase decisions. And so if you're going across a bunch of countries and stuff, yeah, the system will do it. Probably recommend doing individual sites for that, but I did just want to mention that because I've heard people say that's pretty good advice at the end of the day, staying focused and doing one thing really good instead of trying to do too many. But yeah, I'd recommend probably doing specific country sites for this. Next question came in. Can I use multiple templates within one category, or does it require adding a new category? Let me see. So there is, you can create templates and then bind those templates to individual categories if you want, where like if somebody says they want to pick a golf course listing, they can only use the golf course category. However, you can have templates created that can be used for multiple categories. So you may have just like general business, and then general business could be golf course, could be hotel, could be accounting, could be whatever type of business you want. So there's some flexibility around the listing templates in the fields and binding them to the category. That's probably something you would want to see we can do a demo for you and show you how that works exactly there. Okay, question. In December 22 to build my mobile apps, but the apps don't work. Issue with the HTML and images for my apps. I've requested a status update, no response. Please help. Charlene, yeah, I'll check on this again. I apologize if you're still having issues on this. I think we, on our end, we had just with the HTML formatting, there were some extra tags that they were trying to strip out or something in there regarding the content that had already been in there. I'll check on this again for you. as well, and we will get back to you. I'll actually get back to you later today on them, and I apologize that keeps bouncing back for you. Then it's usually a pretty quick process to get the apps built, usually a week or two, and those are done. Done and in the store. Next question. Okay, from Gabriel, posted the links to the widgets. Question for the Translate plugin, Google Translate. Do we have to pay extra to Google for large volume uses of it, or is adding the plugin enough? I think Google doesn't charge anything, but do they put ads on there? They probably do, right? Or no? When they translate stuff, they put are there any ads?
No, it's unbranded, and there is no additional payment to use that. Google has a platform, the translation platform for other users, but it's not the same that we use on this plugin.
It's not the same that we use on this plugin. Okay. Yeah. So, and they're not charging now. We'll see next month, right? Google's pretty like that. It used to be Google Maps were totally free, and they're still free for most people. But I think if you get over like 20,000 visits a month, then they start charging you just a little bit. But they need to hit their market goals. So yeah. But for now, I guess it sounds like the Translate plugin is free. And there may be more options, regarding translation in the future. It's we've seen a lot of interesting things happen on the internet, recently with all this, the OpenAI and Bing and Chat GPT and all of that. And those things will do translations for you, et cetera. So I think translating used to be very complicated and very expensive, and Google sort of got a monopoly on it, but it looks like it's becoming commoditized. And so hopefully this whole language thing in the future, it may not even be such an issue. You just put in a little widget, and the site everybody can read it. Next question from Bill. Is the market selection basically another way to filter content based on location data settings? Yes. So that's what the market selection does. The real problem was like, you have these metro areas. A lot of people use it for metro areas, where there might be a couple little cities around there, and they want to create a big market for that, sort of grouping different locations into data. I.e. the feature selection setting, city, town, but the market selection filter could be by county. That's right. Yeah. So it just gives you some better ability to set, what markets you have, and somebody can say, no, I'm in the New York metro area or Atlanta metro area or whatever, and see various, without having to go down and filter it by city. Can sponsors create listings, articles, events, etc., via the mobile app? No. So the native mobile app currently doesn't have all of the sponsor checkout pieces where you're creating listings and all that. And some of that was, but what it will, you can get in there, and if you want to do that, the sponsor basically can use the browser mode on the app. Part of that is just because Apple in the App Store, they want a fee of any money that you're collecting through the app. It's somewhat similar, like if you have Netflix, if you have the Netflix mobile app or whatever, like they don't, a lot of the credit card stuff and a lot of these mobile apps isn't in there, and they drive you to a website. Or Spotify, you don't put your credit card in the Spotify mobile app. And so we didn't code out that admin section for that. So, but people can still do it. You could do it on your phone potentially via the website, as far as that goes.
James, it's possible to put a link on the mobile app, driving people to the sponsor area on the browser. Right. And the responsive version works
fine.
Smooth,
Yeah.
so
people can do that on the responsive version. Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully that answered that. With the mobile app, is the scroll content at the top of the site viewable? Currently, per responsive mobile devices, the scroll is not there, just a generic image. I'm not sure. I'm not sure specifically what that question is, regarding that, if the scroll is available on the mobile app or not. Do you know, are you able to see that one from Tiffany there on the mobile app, if the scroll is available?
I'm taking notes to follow up later. It seems to be.
Yeah, we can follow up with you and answer that specific. I'm not quite sure I understand it there. So Can you make custom plugins like a referrals plugin? Yeah, through custom development, your team or our team can make whatever, you can do whatever you want with the system. And so you can make custom plugins. If you want a quote on anything developed, we can give you a price quote on it. Just reach out to us, tell us what you want done, and we'll get you a quote on any type of plugins that you need. Are there any new plugin plans on the roadmap? Yeah, absolutely. We have a whole bunch of things that we're looking to build in the future as far as plugins go, from booking engine to whatever else in there. And the other thing I should mention is the eDirectory has there is a custom content widget in just the regular eDirectory based product. And so if you have some of these external systems, they often have little snippets of code that you can just paste in the custom content widget, and then whatever functionality that widget has, like say you want to put in weather or something else, you can just drop that in the custom content widget. So if you're trying to do something and you can't figure out how to do it, reach out to us and we'll let you know what the different options are for that. What is the difference between a widget and a plugin? So yeah, in our system, what we call widgets are sort of design and layout widgets, where you have your home page, and then maybe you have the widget for the search bar, and then maybe you have a widget for a banner ad, and then a widget that shows 3 featured listings, and then a widget that shows all the categories. And those are widgets. And then a plugin is a modification to the eDirectory system that's installed, and then that overwrites or changes some functionality or adds some functionality to it. And again, you can see the list of plugins available if you go to eDirectory.com to the marketplace, to the link that's in there. Great. Do we have any more questions? Any last questions? If we get any last questions here, I'll answer those in 1 second. But what's up next in terms of the web? Actually, I have. Let me go back to. Let me go back to the screen share and show you what's up next in terms of our next events, our next webinars. So we have a new version that's already out, eDirectory 13.2, and we're going to go through it on the 22nd, just sort of what the different features are. New SEO center, a bunch of other things in there. So we'll walk through that on the 22nd if you want to join us for that. And then April 5th, we'll talk about the listing template editor. This is where you configure the individual listings and what fields and stuff like that go on them. And then on April 19th, we'll talk about SEO for online directories. So the signups for those webinars are all on eDirectory.com/webinar. Great. So any last questions? Okay, we got one more come in. I only see a bridge image on my iPhone that's static in place of the dynamic scroll content on the images at the top of the site, and the experience of my laptop only that it appears this dynamic scrolling content at the top of the site is not visible on the mobile apps. It may be that the slider or something like that she's talking about on that. Emerson, can you note, and we'll, I think the new mobile app version actually has a slider in it that you can configure, sort of a specific mobile app slider. So it may be that you need to configure the one for mobile separately on that. But why don't we Emerson, can you note to have somebody reach out to Tiffany and just see what the issue is there, and figure out what she needs to get done there in terms of getting those images on the mobile app working.
Yeah,
I suspect it's a configuration around the widgets.
Sometimes maybe the app she's using has only one image. That's why it might be static.
It's static instead of the slider. Okay. So if you only have one image
like that
uploaded into the site manager for your sliders, it may just show one, and that's why it may look static there as well. Instead of the dynamic scroll. And I think there's separate slider images for the app than the regular site.
Yes, I think just an example. I have the demo factory app on my phone, and it works regularly.
It works fine.
Yeah, it works just fine.
Okay, so but we'll reach out to you and just make sure we get that resolved. And then can I get some info about 13.2? Why don't are you able to post in that blog post on the version 13 there, just so people get a little bit more info on what's in there? And then is there plans, question from Bill on potential down the road for a more robust forum? Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the other items that we're planning to work on right after this next set of things that we're doing in terms of getting the forum more robust. I don't know that many of these sites have a forum. Like if you really need a really robust one, you can integrate these external systems, but often they're a little bit clunky and some of the interfaces are a little bit different. So yes, we're going to work on ours in the future for that. And then Gabriel just posted into the chat there on the webinar a link to the blog post on 13.2 if anybody's curious there. And if you're on the service version, the monthly version of eDirectory, you can just send in a support ticket says please upgrade and we'll get you upgraded. It's included in the monthly cost. And if you have an owned license and you have the annual support contract, it's included as well. And then if you don't have the annual support contract, you may just need to get it and you can reach out to us about that. Okay, well, great. I think looks like that's all the questions. So I want to thank everybody for their time today. Our support team is available on eDirectory.com on chat. And you can also send an email to support@eDirectory as well. And we also have, if you need a demo or any type of anything like that, our account executives are available on eDirectory.com chat as well. And we can set up a live demo where you do a screen share and that type of thing for you as well. So great. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.